forgot how bad it looks.
I've seen worse.
Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. Rick and Morty and I have a very strenuous relationship, to say the very least. I, like everyone else, fell in love with it with the first couple of seasons. It was so different and unique, considering that it started off as a Back to the Future parody of all things.
Yeah, that's one fine-looking barbecue pit. Why doesn't mine look like that?
I originally started to get disillusioned with the series with Pickle Rick, mostly the therapy session at the very end. It felt like the laziest way possible to beat home a lesson, along with some resentment at the audience for liking the idea of watching Rick do insane things. There was an open resentment to the fans that I didn't particularly enjoy then, and I didn't enjoy it as it grew.
Disappointed!
Because it continued forward as Rick and Morty as a show mocked people for being invested in an overarching plot with the train episode and hurting my ability to care about character development by showing changes constantly being undone by memory wipes. All the while, the characters remain the exact same age for every single season.
What the hell is that?
As it continued and it just became another show, watching it grew to be more of a chore because of how much the people behind the show seemed to hate the fact that I wanted answers and for the show to follow through with its promises to be something more than the usual animated sitcoms. And, well,
By the gods, what have I become?
multiple seasons in, it's obvious that Rick and Morty wanted to just be wacky adventures with gore and dark comedy. More Robot Chicken meets Family Guy than a serialized series. And you know what? It finally got its wish. After season 7, any and all ongoing storylines have been, at the very least, pushed to the side, made a joke, or outright finished.
We knew you could do it!
Rick and Morty is now just an episodic show. I don't care about its world building, I don't care about character development, I don't care about plot changes at all. It is now a meaningless distraction without anything important or deep to say like in its first few seasons. And you know what I have to say about that?
I liked it.
Do any of the episodes in season 8 reach the heights of the show's all-time best? No, not absolutely not. Not even close. And in a way, this is simultaneously the worst yet most consistent season in the entire franchise. Nothing great at all, but nothing outright infuriating either.
Pretty gruesome, huh?
I've seen worse.
My ability to reflect about the outright nihilistic horrors shown in this universe is completely gone. Side characters dying or being traumatized, like with the clone colony episode, didn't strike an emotional chord with me at all. The only thing I cared about were the painstakingly animated, gory violence scenes and the dark yet wacky humor. No feelings for me at all besides that.
Don't care. Don't care. Still don't care. I don't care.
The animation quality is the one thing that I can't take away from Rick and Morty at all. What they pull off and the raw violence on display almost every single episode is as impressive as always. I can't even imagine the hours upon hours of work in order to pull all of that off. It's insane to me and something that I will always appreciate about Rick and Morty, you know, as long as they continue with the trend of giving us good animation.
Impressive. Very nice.
The situations do feel a little more base than what came before. The premises aren't nearly as good. Jurassic Park meets Osmosis Jones. Is it going to happen anymore? A lot of it is, remember this movie, remember this genre, remember this past episode of this very show, which was better than what you're watching right now.
Oh my god, there's this many?
The humor was, however, pretty on point. I was amused through every single episode. They got a few chuckles out of me, and they did build up to one outright belly laugh by the end of almost every single episode by the end. The post-credit scene after the Space Beth and Rick episode was top-notch. There was something about the setup and payoff that just tickled me.
Are you not entertained?
And you know what? I have to give them credit with episode 1 of season 8. My biggest criticism has always been that Morty and Summer have remained the exact same after living through hundreds upon hundreds of different lives, yet they're always the annoying teenagers. And it was shown that the adventures we've seen don't really matter because their minds will always be wiped, they'll always be set back to normal, everything will go back to the status quo. This is a sitcom now. Get over it and just enjoy the ride.
Well, this sucks.
Surprisingly, that actually helped my enjoyment of the season though. I think it's finally installed into me not really to care about what actually happens. People suffer horrors, don't care. The main characters are traumatized, don't care. Entire universes are ended, don't care. Amuse me, fictional characters. I enjoy your torment. I feel nothing besides wanting to feel joy at your suffering.
Yes, die, die, die! I have everything and you have nothing!
It is weird that Rick and Morty finally managed to become what it always strived to be since about season 4, and it happened only after Justin Roiland had been completely excommunicated from the series. He increasingly had less to do with the show up until season 7, where he was tossed away like hot garbage.
Bonnie, how do you keep getting back in?
I'm a drunk. I don't know nothing about how I do anything. Whoa!
Now I think that Dan Harmon is the only original showrunner and possibly the writer from the very beginning, and he is walking on eggshells because he finally has everything that he ever wanted, and you can feel it because this season showed none of the emotion he usually displayed in previous shifts in politics. You know what I'm talking about.
But I have a strategy. If I hide myself here, the paintress won't think of gommaging me. I've been hiding for 6 months now. So leave and don't tell anyone I'm here.
In fact, if I had to describe season 8 with one overlying theme, it would be, it's fine, I'm just enjoying life while things I hate happen. Who cares? Let's just laugh and be happy. Life is great. The Smith family is just chilling during this season. After terrible traumas happen, they instantly move on or have a private joke about it. After a laugh, things will go back to normal. There definitely isn't the raw passion or emotion from previous seasons. Rick and Morty doesn't really have anything to say besides life moves on and just try to laugh while you can, which I guess is appropriate after what happened with Rick Prime. The goal and the overarching story is basically over. The show continues forever because corpos need to make money.
And over and over.
Okay, Clay, I get the point.
No, you don't!
And who knows, perhaps there is an overarching theme that we're not going to really see be paid off until a lot later. The numbness and the lack of direction after completing and obtaining one's life's goal. That might very well be what Dan Harmon feels in his life right now. He got what he wants. He got the show, he got the money, he got the girl that he always wanted, time to enjoy it. It feels good to him, but it just doesn't have the spice and the passion of previous eras, and you can feel that bleed from his real world experiences to right now in this show. Not terrible, but not great at the very least. It could turn back around, who knows? I no longer dread the future seasons at this point, and there might be a plan, because I don't feel the absolute resentment of the previous episodes for me wanting answers. Now it's coasting time with amusing premises and a few funny jokes.
My work here is done.
Does this compare well to previous seasons? It definitely is nowhere near the peak of seasons 1 and 2, but it doesn't have the lows of other seasons. At the same time, it doesn't have the highs of the other seasons as well, with stuff with The Citadel, Evil Morty, and Rick Prime. But it is amusing now. It is fun to look at, and it is well made. It is a good distraction. It's not the best show ever. It is now the animated sitcom that's always going to continue forever, just like The Simpsons, unless you think differently. Also, what is your favorite season of Rick and Morty? Mine's probably 2, I think.
This is brilliant. But I like this.
The lack of real emotion and connection could be a problem if they try to bring the show back to having a legit storyline and having me care about what's happening and the people involved. My attachment to anything other than being amused by these characters has already basically been dragged out back like Old Yeller and put down. This Pandora's box is going to be very hard to have everything shoved back in and closed until the very last episode is announced at the very least. But even then, I'll remain skeptical and detached because that's what the show has trained me to do. Rick and Morty is episodic, gory, dark humor, Robot Chicken meets Family Guy sketches. I don't think that it could make me feel for the characters anymore. It's just another show now. It broke the promise at the very start to be different and now can only be a parody of its former self. I can enjoy what's happening, but I can also admit that, hey, this is not nearly as good as what I wanted from this.
Just let me die! Just let me die! Let me die in peace!
Is season 8 the worst thing that I've ever seen ever? Far from it. I had a good time watching it. It amused me. I laughed, but at the same time, I really didn't care about it other than that the Smiths are clapping monkeys for me to watch as they hurt themselves.
Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself!
It could be worse though. The anime showed me the terrible depths that this franchise could possibly reach. There's almost nothing in that version of Rick and Morty that I can praise in any conceivable way, except for the fact that it lowered the bar so much that this feels like a masterpiece in comparison. And maybe that was the point. Now I expect the bare minimum, and you know what? That's a lot easier to achieve.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Let me put it this way, Rick and Morty could be canceled tomorrow, and it very well might because viewership is at its all-time lowest point, and I would feel nothing. I would think, well, it's over. I guess I won't get that distraction anymore. It could be worse. At least it didn't reach the absolute lows of other shows. Oh well, what else is on?
What else is on?
Yeah, let's see what else.
Where's the TV guy?
If you want a good comparison, just look at the Microverse Battery episode. The laughs, the feelings, the themes, and the emotions in that one put everything in season 8 to shame. I will remember that Battery episode a lot longer than anything in season 8, even though it is already years upon years old. And I think that just says everything about where we are right now with Rick and Morty.
Oh, I made myself sad.
And in that way, Rick and Morty is truly kind of already dead. There's no passion, there's no emotion, there's no attachment, there's no hate, there's no love, just laughs at the distraction. And even then, I don't laugh at the darkness of the franchise nearly as often in this season compared to the last. It just doesn't hit home nearly as hard. In fact, I'll probably forget about these past 10 episodes far faster than the rest of the franchise combined. That's just how it is. It's okay now, and maybe that is okay.
Well, time to erase that forever.
Life goes on. Rick and Morty continues until it doesn't. That's life. Everyone keeps going until they don't. Enjoy the small, amusing parts while you can. Or until Dan Harmon's dream relationship falls apart and he goes full scorched earth on the show. That is an option too. I wonder how it will eventually end. Will it just fade into obscurity, or will there just be a giant mess? I'm actually looking forward to seeing that part.
I'm going to jump!
Oh!
Do a flip!
But what do you think? Did you enjoy season 8 even more than me? Do you prefer this? Do you think that there's any scene in season 8 that matches up to what came before, that made you feel and laugh nearly as much as previous seasons? Please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And remember, if you disagree with everything I have to say, that is perfectly fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
Are you two still living?
Thank you all so much for watching.
You're still here?
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. You bye. Boom.
Do not despair.